Guys, welcome back. The vlog Into the Woods. But I am outside the first ever Broadway theater I was in, the Super Theater. That's it right there. I was on the stage. Some Tilda there, and it was pretty cool. Some like it hot, or some like it transphobic. Get it? Because it's controversy. Yeah. And there it is. Into the woods. The woods. Now, right here, ladies and gentlemen, we have Leah Michelle, a very acclaimed actress who can definitely read. Actually, I know she can read through credible, verifiable sources. Look at that smile. She couldn't have been an abusive bully on set. No. It's kind of funny that Leah Michelle's there, and then there's Wicked, Leah Michelle, parallel.
When you know she would go with you if there only were doors. Agony! I must have her to wife.
Guys, I am back, and I am currently in a building, not recording on my camera due to some unfortunate circumstances, but that is nonetheless the case, because we are here to talk about Into the Woods, which I saw last night, although when this comes out, it will have been many days since I've seen it. But let's talk about it. So, I saw Montego Glover, I think, who plays the witch. I saw Stephanie J. Block, Sebastian Aquelis, or whatever his name is. I don't know how to say his last name. Gavin Creel, Joshua Henry. So I didn't see like Brian Darcy James, Sarah Bareilles, but you know, you guys know that they've left already. So first of all, I want to say that as you know, I do grosses, and this show it's not selling so well. I went on Thursday night. I had a whole row to myself, plus the row behind me, empty. No one was sitting there, which was kind of disappointing. I'd say that the theater was about, I don't know, like 80%, not 80%, like 70%, 60%. Still a ton of people. And it didn't feel empty, and it wasn't empty objectively, but you can definitely tell that Sarah Bareilles' absence from the show is impacting ticket sales. But I do understand that in this day and age, you know, they need to have the ticket prices super high, because then the overall gross is higher. But if they lower it, they get lower grosses like Hadestown, but higher capacity numbers. So some people are just, you know, choosing which thing to do or hold on to. But yeah, so we begin with prologue Into the Woods. And before that, yeah, the St. James Theater needs to renovate their theaters. The St. James Theater, the Lyceum Theater, the Walter Kerr Theater, and the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater need to renovate their seats. These seats at the St. James Theater, it was so uncomfortable. Like, I was in the mezzanine, so I was in the back, but these seats were like this close together. You had no leg space. Even a small, you have to be like a baby under 4, like you have to be like 4 feet to feel comfortable in those seats. Like, those seats were not meant for modern day. I don't know who designed those the way they were. I don't know who thought it was a good idea for that, but you need to renovate your theaters right now, because those seats were just, they were not it. They were just, yeah, no, those were, it was not great. But that's my little rant on theater seats. Anyways, we begin with prologue Into the Woods, and I feel like I had a hard time adjusting or getting into the vibe of the show. One, because there was tons of audience members that were late, and so it kind of ruined the show for me, and the audience was just having to be talked a lot to by the ushers, so it kind of took me out a lot. But having said that, I thought that the opening number was really solid. It was really good. I think Stephanie J. Block is better than Sarah Bareilles. Yes, I've listened to the cast album. Yes, it's an amazing album. And yes, Sarah Bareilles is great. But Stephanie J. Block was just, she has that Broadway voice. You know, she's just at that other level that Sarah Bareilles wasn't at. Sebastian was good as the baker, though I do feel like Brian Darcy James, I would prefer to see Brian Darcy James, only because I feel like Brian Darcy James would have had more complexity to the more emotional moments. And also, it's Brian Darcy James, and he's like one of the greatest actors on Broadway. And then we had Cinderella at the Grave with Annie Goldstein as the baker, as Cinderella's mom. And I love Annie Goldstein ever since Broadway Bounty Hunter. Her voice was incredible. And you know, the way that the tree was represented was her just holding a flower and having flowers on her. So simple, so effective, and I could listen to her all day. She was amazing. Hello Little Girl, Gavin Creel and Joshua Henry made this show. They are the reason why the show's so good. Like, they were the best part of the show. Like, Gavin just, like, again, I liked Gavin. I thought he was a good actor. But the level that he was operating at, along with Joshua Henry, I was like, what is this? This show is a masterclass in acting and directing and making specific choices, from physical to little tics to keeping consistency with those physical movements and those mental moments. And it was just, and the mental traits and the voice, it was just so well defined and so fleshed out and so well thought out. I'd never seen something, that kind of character work, executed so well on a Broadway stage, or any stage for that matter. And I was so blown away by it. And Gavin was highly over the top and played it so well, and my mind was blown. Also, Katie, who played Little Red Riding Hood, was so hilarious, so funny, and I feel like Little Red Riding Hood had more humor in this, or she brought out the more hammy sides of Little Red, and I feel like for me at least, this was the best Little Red I've ever seen. Cole Thompson, who plays Jack, I thought he was good, but he wasn't a standout. Personally, I think I prefer the movies versions, Giants in the Sky. I just think that he was good, but he didn't leave much of an impression. But he was still solid. I also like what they did with the cow. When the cow died, the person operating it went away, and then when it was resurrected, the person came back. Some great comedic bits, genius. And the director of this production, and that's his name, I don't know how to pronounce it. He needs to direct more Sondheim shows, and he just needs to be more on Broadway, because the specificness of the character choices, the fleshed outness of it all, the genius comedy, it was just the subtle things or the bigger things. It was a masterclass in how to direct a show. And what I loved about this production was it stayed true to what the original vision of the show was, while imbuing it with a fresh, newer energy that felt completely different and new and its own thing, but still was honoring the original. And that's what a revival should do. And Into the Woods did it spectacularly. Agony was by far my favorite number, and again, Joshua Henry. Whenever they would enter, they go and it just killed me every time. And when they were on stage together, it goes from an 8 to a 100. They are the show. They are why the show is so good. They are the best part of the show. You cannot convince me otherwise. If they don't get nominated, and if one of them doesn't win, bro. It's the recording and seeing the video, I was like, wow, they're really good, and I'm really looking forward to it. But seeing it in person, it was just a whole other thing. They really made the princes such interesting characters that were kind of played as kind of the basic, dumb jock type character. But there was a complexity to them. There was real character. You cared about them. You were invested in them. You laughed at them. They took these two roles don't have a lot of substance to them, yet I feel like when I left, I felt like I had so much substance that I gained from them. And I think that just speaks to the incredible directing, the acting, the work process, the rehearsal process, and Gavin Creel and Joshua Henry being just geniuses at what they do. Any moment and moments in the woods, I believe, were to highlight moments because just of the comedy of the baker and the baker's wife and the prince kissing, and then Stephanie J. Block's voice just being absolutely incredible. Witch's Lament and No More were two numbers that I didn't really pay attention to much before, but the lyrics really struck me this time, especially when the witch is saying, children, disobey and they don't listen, but they do listen, and kind of giving the parallels of that, and that's something that I really, that concept of what children listen to and what they get inspired by their parents to do, even if they're not listening, they are listening. And be careful, what tail you spin. That's kind of the whole message of the show. With No More, it just really felt like I feel like even with the pro shot of the original Broadway production, I feel like I didn't get the emotional connection with the baker and his dad that I did in this production. Like I really got it. Like I really understood it, and I really connected with it. Whereas in previous ones, I kind of didn't, and that was really cool. And then we had the finale, children listen, and the show ended, and it was amazing. And I really liked how they really stressed the ideas of you got your wish, but now you wanted more, and kind of sometimes the witch said a line sometimes a wish sometimes what you want shouldn't be touched or something. The lyric will be somewhere right here, but those concepts really intrigue me, and I love how they didn't go into them deeper, or they didn't stray away from them, but they really highlighted it. It's kind of like when you highlight a word in in a story or in a paragraph, and it really jumps out at you. But yeah, man, this was an amazing production. Solid 8 out of 10. Is the Company revival better? Yes, but I think that's because I like Company better and I relate to it more. But this show was spectacular. It was beautiful. I think I went in with maybe too high expectations. It's still amazing. It's stunning. But I was thinking my life was going to be changed. And it wasn't changed, but it was... I felt like it took me a while to kind of get into the vibe of the show and then realize this isn't I mean, it's a masterpiece, but it's not a masterpiece. It's, you know what I mean? It is this, but it's there are some things that are this, but times 10. And that's what I got when I saw Company. When I left the Company revival, I was I need to see this again, and this was amazing. When I walked out of this, I was this was really good. But I think that this show revival, you were more impressed and blown away with the subtlety in the acting and the character choices and the specific character work, and that's what you left with. So you left more impressed and fulfilled than you are with Company. And I don't mind that the set was so basic and all that stuff, because it definitely didn't need it. I think that the price of admission being so high and the real spectacle is the acting. And that's something that you don't always see in Broadway shows. I saw Hadestown the other night, and I just feel like Hadestown and Into the Woods, the character choices, Into the Woods was just on a completely different level. And Hadestown is already here. So I was just completely blown away with that fact. And but I do think that this show could have benefited from being somewhere at the Music Box or a smaller theater like the Longacre. And if they extend past January, they're gonna have to find a new theater. So hopefully they find somewhere smaller, because I feel like I would have connected with it more if it was in a smaller venue. And it's set up in a concert style. And it's definitely a more intimate production. I feel like the St. James Theater is way too big, but obviously Sarah Bareilles is why they went to the St. James, because they made $2 million, and it's still making $1 million. It's still doing really good, but I think it could just benefit from being in a smaller theater. But anyways, guys, that's my review and vlog of Into the Woods. I hope you've enjoyed the past 2 vlogs and reviews. I've enjoyed it. Can't wait to bring you more. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.